Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Kenn Bosak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh, yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Kenn Bosak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. Cause I'm Kenn bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're 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 gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get your Kenn Bosak.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Yep.
Of course.
Now,
Oh, they can hear us.
there we go. Got the audio working. How goes it, bros?
It goes.
Hey, bro.
Yo.
All right, so thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and share the link on your social media like Facebook or Twitter. Or if you're already watching on Facebook, go ahead and share the link. Share the live stream there. You can always delete Facebook after you do that. And then if you're watching live on Twitter, go ahead and retweet the live stream. Thanks again, everybody tuning in. Much appreciate the support. How goes it, bros? I'm with 3D and Trek today. So we're going to be talking about your workshop. I got the link in the title right there. You should be able to see it in the title anyway. It says no code needed. It's a bit.ly link in the title. And then in the description on YouTube, we have another one we're going to be talking about, which is the Toolkit Metaverse Toolbox. I can switch over to here to show you that. So we're going to be talking about that as well. I guess since it's 3D's been on recently, but since it's been so long, Trek, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and segue into what we'll be talking about.
All right. So basically, I am Trek with 2Ks. And if you do not know me, I have been in association with 3D and my bro here for like a while, right? I also do content contribution to 3 different YouTube channels. I'm actually working on another thing right now. I do Crypto Blood TV's My Two Satoshis, which comes out a couple times on the week. I also do Weekend Crypto, which is on a Gentleman of Crypto YouTube channel that comes out on Mondays. Basically, I cover weekend crypto news between Friday and Sunday, record late Sunday night, pops out Monday morning. By the way, My Two Satoshis is a combo of crypto news and non-crypto news. The crazy
Oh,
part is that combo, yo, the numbers, no less than 1,000 each video, bro. View wise, like no, it's a weird thing considering like his whole platform for his channel is all crypto, but it works for whatever reason. And then the
interesting.
third channel I'm doing is called Simple Crypto, where it is basically just audio. It's all audio work, and I do simple explainers on things related to NFTs, the crypto space, blockchain stuff. That's another person that we know who put me on to that one. Um, at some point, I'll probably have my own crypto channel, but for right now, I'm okay with having access to about 80,000 subs without actually having my own channel. So yeah, and then for what we're actually talking about, because me and 3D, really 3D did the heavy lifting on this. I just more so was able to vocalize and be the mouthpiece for what we're doing with this thing called digital realty, which when we first started out talking about this, it was about the basic thing behind like, what does it mean to build in the metaverse? What are the different type of, we're going to say, business models that you can utilize in the metaverses? Because we use metaverse, or we say it as singular, but it's really plural because there's blockchain based metaverses and non-blockchain based metaverses, but we say it how we do, whatever. The idea is that there is more opportunity for you now to be able to do things like offer services such as property management for people, or plot management for people, or building skins, or being able to build tools and things that will be utilized in these various metaverses, as well as figuring out how to do certain types of ad models, right? Like, so for example, in Uplift, which me and 3D mainly build in, you have what is called the helicopter view or the God view. And like Kenn has the crazy plot
In the
that's like a
sky, yeah.
250 by 250 plot that you see his face in like a technicolor, okay? That is an advertising model right there, utilizing the fact that the map for the Uplift metaverse works where you see it from a top view. Different metaverses have different setups, and these are the things that we're exploring in the webinar that we're doing on August 30th, which is literally next week. And you can find the link for that and all on Eventbrite, or just, find us on Twitter and we can send you the link for it. So yeah, that's what we're talking about on one thing. And then the other thing is the Builder DAO and the stuff that we did to put together the metaverse toolbox. And the basic idea behind that was, we're not trying to bring you into things that either require KYC or require a ton of money. And it's like low code, no code stuff, literally like drag and drop level stuff. That you can do stuff like start a DAO, make a faucet, make an NFT, put some images together to make a character or avatar. Like, that's where we are right now.
First thing
That's
I
where
want to say is I love that the lights on, lights off is for dark mode on and off. I'm just flicking that switch on the website right now. That one is in the description there on YouTube. If you're watching on any other platform while we're live right now, you can head over to YouTube to see in the description of the video right now is a link to the Metaverse Toolbox. The link to the Eventbrite is in the title of the video. So if you wanted to RSVP, get a ticket on Eventbrite to the digital reality, that's right there. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like Minecraft, like you mentioned, multiple different type of metaverses, some being blockchain based, some non-blockchain based. Maybe 3D can elaborate on this, but I think like Minecraft started digital reality and like virtual real estate, even though you didn't really own the that land using like blockchain technology. People were still paying people to build on their Minecraft plots well before crypto ever got involved with the gaming side of things. And I'm not sure, there might be other games that have that involved, but I don't think I think Minecraft gets that for being the snowball, kind of getting that momentum rolling in the traditional world, right? Where like legacy gaming, people that aren't involved in crypto don't know nothing about private keys. But if you're a gamer, odds are you do know about digital reality and real estate in like a metaverse manner because of Minecraft. So what are your thoughts on, Minecraft sort of being that, where people are going to be testing these new business models for more involved metaverses that actually utilize blockchain technology?
Um, well, okay, first off, yeah, I do agree. Minecraft kind of did start it. Um, and a lot of that came from just like you're saying, like they wanted to build on someone else's server or anything. Like when I was a manager for McDonald's, we had an employee there who ran a Minecraft server for Minecraft One, and he had Oracle mod for Minecraft on his, so they actually could set areas to this person owns this area, that kind of like how they do in a lot of these types of metaverses now, where you have strict rights over a certain spot or plot. And so yeah, Minecraft pushed that. Even like Second Life has had homes always, but after Minecraft came out, they set homes to a paywall where you no longer just got it for free. And that used to be the thing on there, was you have a house and you would hire people that could show up to build in your home, to build up your home, make it look nice, and then you host parties for the, your avatars there. But that was a completely different style of model, where it wasn't like you just don't own it like the same way, you know. But the way these models are coming up, they're all like changing. Where before it was like it was more open ended for everything in your metaverse. Is like, we're just gonna open up the world and you enter, and now it's like, well, we want to give you a piece of the world that you're entering. We're seeing that more and more. And when you apply like real life circumstances to your metaverse plot, you're able to either monetize it in various different ways. You're either able to build up on it or build for other people. Like you could, if you're a builder in real life, you can still be a builder in a metaverse. You know what I mean? Like if you're a contractor or something like that, or a designer. So a lot of these old world market jobs are just transferring over to where, if this is what you do for a living, well, maybe you could also side hustle for a little bit more on, metaverses and stuff.
Trek, what are some of the more common, I guess, like side hustles, like 3D just mentioned, that people are kind of seeking information on how to do that hustle in the metaverse? What are some of the most appealed, gigs in the metaverse?
I mean, right now it's looking at being able to build. But there's a like one of the things that we kind of like figured out, kind of stumbling through when we started doing the Twitter Spaces, which right now we've been doing like every Sunday and exploring the topic of digital realty, um, is that there's a line between who knows how to code. Like for example, in Decentraland, like you know how to code using what is that, Visual Basics something. You can build whatever out there, but Decentraland isn't made for the low code, no code set of folks in regards to like what they initially came up with. So now you have the people who want to get in, they don't got the money to be able to do the trading on the coins. They don't pay enough attention to TA and FA and all of that stuff. They don't want to deal with, the volatility side of trading, but they also don't want to go through the process of fully learning to code. Now you have a market opportunity where people are making tools for you to be able to still create, still do stuff. Um, and what we're seeing now is like, even if you can't, what's the word I'm looking for? Even if you might not have like the creativity to make the building and do the architecture design and stuff like that. Like I wish we could run so you could see what we're doing inside of Spore Baby space. Mike, you know Mike, I think.
Yeah.
Out of Vegas. Yeah, like bro, when I tell you the stuff that we've been doing on his plot, it looks like no other
I
plot in
think
the
I
whole
may
uplift,
have a
bro.
spore. I think these are what you're talking about.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
I knew I had these close by. So shout out to my boy Mike.
Yeah, man. Shout
Yeah.
out to Mike
As
for
soon as you
believing in
said
us.
spore babies, I was like, yo, I know that dude. I actually have to
Yeah.
get on another Zoom call with him. I wanted to talk more about NFTs with Mike. But yeah, so sorry as I digress. Go back.
No, well, sorry, I kind of ran a long way too. But the idea, so most people are thinking you have to come in the code, right? So that's that first technical level of friction point. And for Web3 in the bigger development space, it's being designed for people with low code to no code understanding, right? And I would argue that metaverses are where that is going to be tested out, because metaverses are going to be the new websites. Think about, and I'm talking about pre-MySpace, bro.
Yeah.
If you was a coder, you was killing it pre-MySpace. Then MySpace comes in, it lowers the threshold a little bit, right? X amount of years later, GoDaddy comes in, lowers the
Yes.
technical threshold a little bit more. And now you get even more websites. And now you got to be more competitive as a coder to be able to offer your services to people, because the technical threshold is being brought down. It's going from a B2B level, and now it's going to a B2C level. I argue this is the same thing we see happening now in the metaverse space, and it's
I
going to
agree.
proliferate a lot more. Um, and I don't know if to say like what the exact, like, let's say like top 10, or if even top 10, more so like maybe top 3 to 5 things. It's either going to be advertising, depending on what the metaverse itself is, you either know enough of how to do the building, so making the buildings for people. You might not be the designer, but you just know how to execute the actual building, the structure, right? Or you'll just do, and I think this is going to be the real interesting part when this comes up down the road, of being able to do plot management. Because like, how in Uplift, or none of the actual metaverses right now, you can't fractionalize your plot area, whether it's on the X and Y axis, or the X, Y and the Z axis. So the Z axis gets you into, like, now we're talking about apartments and skyscrapers and multi-level structures, where you can say, hey, you have access to just this level here, but you can't do anything down here or up here.
Right. Yeah, it'd be like a shopping mall or something, like a park.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like when the tech catches up to that, I think that's gonna be where like the explosion comes in, for people to be like, hey, I'll do the management service for you. For right now, I get, like, it really depends on what metaverse you're in, because every metaverse has different technical nuances to it, as well as community nuances. Like voxels and sandbox don't have the same, you know what I'm saying, demographics. And they don't have the same type of functions within their ecosystem, which is different than like Second Life, which is different than Decentraland, which is different than, if you're talking about Minecraft, or if you're talking about like the built on top of Minecraft, Uplift, or what's that other one by Ethereum 3D?
I don't remember. There's like three. Like there's also like there's tons of different ones where they build on top of it, and it's pretty much like a modified version of the game.
Right. So like right now, I would say the two biggest things is either you know how to make the skins, you know how to build actual the buildings themselves, or you figuring out how to like propose advertising models to whatever business or whatever personality is trying to do something within a particular metaverse. But you actually got to know the metaverse's setup to be able to figure out which thing works.
Which is like a good starter metaverse, something for people to get like a foundation on sort of what we're talking about. Where would you recommend people start? Would it be something like crypto voxels, or something less crypto centric like Minecraft?
I would
Like
argue, go ahead, 3D.
I would say like spatial, or one of those where you can like build your own space and then invite people in.
Sort of
Just
like
because
alt
like
space?
yeah, that's another one. But there's like a bunch of them, and this, yeah, it's not always use your own, but it gives you an opportunity to mess with the space and learn how to deal with the different mechanics inside of your whatever. And um, then when you move over to something else, like you go from like spatial, or the other one you're talking about, and then you go to like cryptovoxels or Decentraland or something, you'll know how to interact with stuff. You'll know how to deal with stuff. You'll know that stuff has additional options and stuff. So it's like find something completely free, work on it, and just give a try with it. Like spatial, you can actually insert NFTs and have NFT galleries and stuff like that. And well, a lot of them think that's kind of what they go focus on. They give you
Well, that touches on what
almost
Trek
like an
was saying with the
attraction.
advertising kind of model, where the galleries sort of are advertisement uh, petri dishes, people kind of testing how do I advertise in the metaverse. And right now it is, hanging your NFTs on the wall and trying to make it sort of like a shoppable, a shoppable experience. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. There you go. You were right in my mind. So I guess like to touch on the digital reality class here, or webinar. Yeah, right here. I got it up for the viewers on the 30th. I guess like tell people a little bit about what they can expect if they're coming into this space, with like their hands in the air, like metaverse. Why I want to get involved.
All right. With what we're doing with the digital realty, this is really the basics. This is where 3D goes into the history, and not like let's talk about who was the actual developer on the team that first started working for the company. We're not going that deep, but we are breaking down the differences between blockchain-based metaverses and non-blockchain-based metaverses, and highlighting the fact that like metaverses technically existed before blockchain became a part of this thing we call crypto now. And then we then get into the whole thing of like, here's how you start
Finding
connecting in,
land and getting
yeah,
into these things.
like, yeah, and then like how to look out for like potential scams, and like what do the actual plots look like, and how to tell the difference between how their market ecosystems work, because some might be closed, some might be open. It depends on, what you're looking to get into. And so as they fast forward, end result is you pay whichever one you do. It's a two-tier thing. We're not trying to break the bank. We understand everyone's, having to like clutch their crypto right now. Technically, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that there is a crypto run happening right now, but it does not look like a traditional bank run, and no one's calling it that. Just saying. There's things happening of what's coming out of centralized exchanges, but no one's calling it a crypto run, but things are happening. But anywho.
Elaborate. No. Elaborate. We'll
Okay.
segue back to the webinar in a second here, but elaborate, please.
I think that the ripple effect of how Terra Luna played out. The front story, the cover story was, hey, X amount of these different financial backers were interlooping and mixing their funds at different levels. Who's a tier 3 level lender? Who's a tier 2 level lender? Who's a holding firm at a level 1? And they're all mixing their funds in. Financial institutions are using X amount of front companies and front projects to intermix their funds together, just like they do in traditional banking, right? If you've been to any of the events over the last, like, let's say 6 months, and you start having conversations with these project founders, who's from an accelerator, who's from an incubator, who's from a foundation, and then when you start digging in on what those are, you realize X amount of the money, it comes out of Wall Street daddies and Wall Street kids, right? And what I'm getting at is that there is a proxy positioning going on for exposure to crypto by traditional financial setups. And they're realizing, all right, too much, like, not to say they're realizing it, but they're seeing that there is a hiccup that's going to come in where the risk is getting too high, but they're still trying to grab as much as they can out, right? So you see where some companies are getting to be dropped by the wayside, and then someone takes over their intellectual capital, but they drain out the funds out of that project before they just let it like sit over there on the shelf. So you have that happening on the back end for the bit, or like the institutions, where they spread it out like, all right, we'll do 50 different companies or projects by proxy. X amount of those fall off. They still pull out the capital that they made. They move it over into the next thing. And then when you talk about the high net worth people who are in a whole different set of conversation, they're looking at it going, okay, I see certain moves happening. I need to get my stuff out of centralized exchanges where if they go under, I don't get made whole. And I seen something with what's his face? Chico Crypto today. And he was running down the numbers from January. We talking 5-figure numbers up to 6-figure numbers have been pulled out of just BTC alone since January of this year.
Wow.
Have been coming off of centralized exchanges. Where is that going? I don't know. I'm not gonna do the homework to go like look at all the addresses and transaction stuff, but it's a pattern. And I would argue folks aren't talking about it in a more contextual thing of understanding like a bank run in the crypto space is not going to look the same as a bank run in traditional financing because there's not the same type of controls. It's not the same type of technology. I got to walk down to the bank to pull or walk to an ATM to physically pull my money out. If I'm on Kraken and like if Kraken is my exchange or Coinbase is my exchange, I could be in Bali, I could be in Somalia, I could be in Latin America someplace. Do. Swipe, swipe, swipe. I pulled all of my stuff off the exchange. I'm out. That's it. It is not going to look like what a traditional bank run looks like because our operational environment is different. And if you look at it as far as like not volume, but like large sum amount, yeah, there's a fair amount of Bitcoin and other things moving out of centralized exchanges because I think some people are seeing when the regulations start coming in on top of what's going on in the bigger what's this thing called the financial setup for the recession and all that fun stuff. I think a lot of folks in the crypto space are going to turn into forced hands. And I'm not talking about weak hands. I'm talking about forced hands in the sense of, and shout outs to Nate, because Nate was the first person who we were talking about something. And he's like, yeah, that's like being a forced hand. So basically, you cashing out on whatever crypto you got in order to pay your bills. You got folks out here who went and bought these crazy ass houses cash down, right? You got folks who went and bought the new exotic car or the new premium level car, but you can't deal with the maintenance, you can't deal with the gas price. Like you got what 6+ figures, and I'm not saying this to you, Ken. Do you even drive anymore? Yeah, see you in a whole nother level, bro. But I'm talking about those other the other folks that did it, like they got the come up. They moved out to Cali, they moved out to Austin, they moved out to different parts of Texas, even Florida. And when things really start to crumble in traditional Main Street market, it will definitely affect crypto related people. And especially if you weren't like, quote, crossing your T's and dotting your I's with the IRS and all of that stuff, now is going to come 2023, 2020, like say 2024, 2025, right? It's going to be, well, how did you survive if you weren't working a 1099 or a traditional W-2 job? Because why? They was pulling out their funds now and they're stacking it however they're stacking it, and they're going to try to ride it out. But eventually, X amount of folks in this space are going to be forced hands because there's going to be too much things going on and they got too used to living a certain level of life that they're not going to want to give it up.
Well, that's already
And what are they
happening in
gonna do?
other countries. I feel like, that's a first world privileged problem, to be able to passively wait for that forced moment. But a lot of other countries already had that forced time already come, whether it's due to the war with Russia and Ukraine or nations like El Salvador, Venezuela, stuff like that, kind of going all in and, forced hands off of because that's what their currency is now. So, yeah, I can definitely see that. And I feel like the way you mentioned the bankrolling, I feel like these centralized exchanges may have slightly caught on to the implications that they're getting themselves involved in, because we're starting to see some recourse from them finally, where they're setting limits even for the whales. You're starting to see even whale accounts complaining on Twitter about their exchanges accounts being frozen for whatever reasons, and I'm like, oh yeah, well it's because the exchanges know if they don't start solving the problem, they will be the problem. especially Coinbase and Binance, stuff like that. Like, they're gonna have to start really working with the man if they don't want to disappear with the Blockbuster and Tower Records.
I'm also going to throw out there capital flight control. We want to talk about it as saying, oh, it's about stopping money laundering, or oh, it's about stopping terrorists and blah, blah, blah. Nah, dog. It's way too much economic turmoil happening in multiple sectors, multiple industries, and countries, municipalities, whether you're talking about the federal level, the local level as far as a state, mid-level as far as a state, local level as far as a province, a city, or a borough, they are going, oh, snap. We need to start figuring out either how to get people to come into our jurisdiction and bring their money with them, or we need to figure out how to make sure that our people who are here now, they are not able to extricate their capital and we not get a cut of it.
I think gamifying that extradition is the solution. Hear me out, right? So involving the metaverse in this equation, right? Now these towns, right? These municipalities could open up their metaverse borders, having metaverse employment, metaverse taxation, all this stuff happening in a metaverse, which can contribute to the physical reality of that providence. So, here in Miami, Miami could have a metaverse, people working and playing in that metaverse, advertising, things like that happening. That all that value is coming in because people all over the world are extraditing value from where they live to your metaverse, and as well as people that live here in Miami that are, in that physical plot, are probably extraditing their value playing the same metaverse game but in Hong Kong, and they're adding metaverse value there, but it's actually helping real world potholes get filled. You think that may be a potential solution?
I think that it will be a temporary model until either someone on the private sector figures out, hey, the government's gonna want this, just like what Chainlink is doing right now, just like what Chainalysis is doing right now, just like what Coinbase is doing right now, where it's like, all right, like we know folks are gonna move it how they move it and do what they do with it. We're just gonna collect the data, and then eventually the governments are gonna come to us and be like, all right, we want the stuff. And in the case of the US, and I remember when I said this, like I said this in a paper or something back when I was in college about how everyone talks about how the US has the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that protect the citizens. But what I felt was being largely ignored back then, and I think we see it now, is where the governments may not be the ones, quote, doing the thing themselves to break the law of the Constitution or Bill of Rights and stuff like that. But there's nothing about the private sector to be able to go and collect those the data on you, to be able to track all of your activities. Coinbase sells not only do they sell the information to the government contract wise, but they also provide them with a contractual service on like, hey, here's the software to be able to interpret the stuff.
Well, so does Facebook, TikTok.
Right.
I mean, that's just
right.
internet business, though. That's just how the internet makes money, being the internet. That's why we don't have to pay a monthly service fee to Coinbase to use Coinbase every month.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, I that's just like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, if there is ever a solution to that outside of just like embracing that fully, and then there will probably be a business model for the whole garbage in, garbage out solution where like I could pay somebody to, like, pay a company as a service to log into all the things that I'm logged into and just feed it garbage every day, all day.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah,
that'd be dope.
That's what I'm
Like,
sure that will be, because of the monetization of the user using anything, whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Google search engine, you're being monetized, and then it's being utilized against you in this fucking AI machine to get more value from you with that information. people are going to start game theorying that and feeding it garbage. And next thing you know, you're going to start, seeing like pool supplies or something, as suggested stuff. And you're like, oh, cool. I never even looked that stuff up, rather than being hit with stuff that you're actually looking up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's solutions to the problems that are as valuable as the problem itself is.
Okay, so in regards to that example that you just gave about like people, I don't I don't know if we would call it garbage in, garbage out service, but it would definitely be for the niche market of people who are in the digital space but still want a certain level of like quote anonymity or privacy as far as not having the digital markers that move around in the different platforms that they use. Like I'm not saying it's going to be the, hey, you'll be, I mean, maybe you could be the next millionaire or whatever, but I could see that being a thing. Now, who figures out like the best setup that allows you to be able to like at scale? Because that's the whole thing. You got to be able to at scale push out the garbage and then do it in a way that it doesn't upset the algos to flag anything that comes out of the account.
Yeah.
That's at least off the top of my head.
Yeah, this is suspicious behavior. Like, damn you, AI.
Right? So you make AIs that counter the AI, which is the same thing they do now with like how high frequency trading goes, right? You got the bots that watch all of the social medias, and then you got the social media bots that watch all of the stuff like going on with people. Like, I remember when somebody was like explaining that to me, like this is pre C19. So 2017, 2018, and somebody was explaining to me, like, yeah, like it's bots watching bots watching bots watching people.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. But yeah. 3D, jump in, please. Don't let me hog all the mic time.
Well, I guess if 3D wants to jump in, I wanted to get back to the Metaverse Toolbox real quick, because I know we digressed and segued a few times. And let me see if I can bring this up for the viewers here. So I have the Metaverse Toolbox up and the website up here. So what's up with the Toolbox? How are people, like, who's the demographic, I guess, like, end user for this Toolbox? Who's this appealing to, and how will this help them?
So I guess this appeals to either people like wanting to build a business in the metaverse or digital realm, um, on blockchain mostly. So like you want to get involved, but you're still not there yet. Either you don't have the knowledge or resources or something, right? So that's what this goes for. So it's set up into 3 tiers: top, middle, bottom. Top being the least amount of knowledge, and you can use these tools. Like these are GUI options. It's like using a website, like using an app. But all of these are web-based, so you can use them on your browser, on your phone, on your computer. From like building a PFP to actually building a room in a metaverse to linking stuff together to running like a metaverse-based presentation, like on hubs or something like that. Um, then like when you go up into tier mid, you're talking like you got to know some code here. So people who are just getting into coding, people who are wanting to learn code, this is going to be great for them. And then bottom layer is going to be for more like your devs. This is going to be serious code is going to be needed to use these options. And these are people either wanting to build for others and they just want to have their tools at a quick access point, like, really easy to get to. And with it not being on your browser bar, it's a little more subjective that you don't use it or whatever. People don't have to know. It's on IPFS, so you can always just pull in. You can just copy the CID on one of your note files and keep running, and then just pull it up anywhere you go. So that's really what we're shooting at.
This is awesome, actually. I'm just noticing when I went down to your bottom layer, the Wax DAO bubble has like an image that isn't loading for some reason, or maybe it did. I don't know. My
It's
brow.
on IPFS, so it
My
does kind of.
Sometimes the images don't load in fully, then sometimes they will.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, it did, and then it didn't, then it did. I was like, I think it just might be my computer at this point. Nah, it's fine.
like we are trying to get people to understand, like, we're not tourists, right? We're not here just trying to throw a quick money grab and it's a pump and it's not going to work. And at the same time, this is all on the end of how much you are willing to take the time to learn, right? You don't get to cut the corner. Like for the top level stuff, right? It's low to no code, right? Drag and drop GUI stuff.
Mhm.
But you still have to take the time to actually learn what the tool does. You might not need to know how to make the tool, but you got to learn how to use the tool. We can only give you like a certain level of insight as far as like, hey, here is some examples of how you can use it. Well, here's the tool. Here's examples of how you can use it.
Well,
Right.
I think you have an example here, right? The digital reality webinar with the Spore Baby video on YouTube here.
Yeah. So
Let me see if I
that's,
can share this.
I don't know. I feel like we need to come up with a name for um the way
So
that
3D
that
and
one is
myself
Yeah,
recorded, because that's
this little drop in.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let me share the audio too, so you guys can hear that share sound. Here
I
we
don't know
go.
if I did audio on
Oh,
that,
you
but
can
yeah,
see
it's
the videos I watch on YouTube when I pause. That's so funny. It's I watch Taskmaster a lot, so if you guys haven't watched Taskmaster, totally watch it. It's awesome. Anyway,
have worked to create this.
here we go. Wait, play.
So 3D and myself have worked to create this metaverse webinar. The basic goal is we're trying to give people a tool set that can be learned and honed during this crypto winter. And so July 20th, we hope that you would join us to learn a area of the metaverse that will definitely take off when the space overall matures more and people start to understand the value of the virtual worlds in relation to marketing and branding. It is not just going to be for the big name companies that exist now. This is also about the companies that will be coming out in the coming years, as well as individuals who want to create their own virtual space. But if you don't take the time to learn the nuances now and go through the trial and error now during this downtime, it will definitely cost you more to try and learn this when everything picks back up, and you will have a more steep learning curve. Now, do we promise that you will make gains? No, we don't promise that, because we don't know how you'll actually follow through in using the knowledge that we give you. Nonetheless, this is something that can be done. It isn't that you have to be an adult with a degree. This is something that your kids can even do. If you're looking for something to keep your kids occupied during the summer, this is a course that they can take. It's only going to be 2 hours, and then they can go off and explore the different metaverses and figure out which one would work best for them to apply what they learned. You can do the same thing as an adult. It's only a 2 hour webinar, but what we're teaching you is the understanding that you would be able to use in any metaverse. It's just a matter of, do you have the wherewithal to apply it and be consistent, and then learn from your errors to improve and make it work better for you. So join us on July 20th. This is a paid event. Registration will be done through Eventbrite, and you will receive the live stream link within 24 hours before the event happens on July 20th.
All right, but this one is for the 30th.
Yeah, so that recording is from the first event we did. And so what we're doing is it's a webinar once a month, typically towards the end of the month, because of the run-up time as far as being able to like promote it. We're not doing like paid advertisement stuff. This is literally just us doing live streams, doing the Twitter spaces on the week. Well, we're going to change the day come next month, but we're holding weekly Twitter spaces talking about it. We're talking about it on IG. We're doing it on Twitter, and then, you know, trying to jump on other interview platforms to bring more awareness to, hey, this is what we're doing, and you might want to pick up on this now while things are down, because once folks really start when the market picks back up and folks really get like, oh, I can do all of this with low to no code stuff, it's going to be a number of projects that just how to say this, I honestly think that for what I see happening in metaverse spaces right now, going forward into this decade, and the bigger thing of Web3, it's going to be more options for you to not have to code. So low code, no code, and being able to create. But it's like I said, it's going to be like the websites where, oh, you have your free website and it's Wix, but like you're not actually doing the paid one where you get your whole domain handle by yourself. It's going to be a slew of those that come out over the next couple
Yeah.
of years for metaverses.
I
And it's going to
really
be like, oh,
like
yeah,
how
I
you
got.
said like the metaverses are the next websites, and that I couldn't agree more. Going to Nike.com is not going to be the same experience as going to Nike.metaverse or whatever the hell the domain link may be. But the metaverse experiences that are going to be what we consider like a website experience is it's yeah. I mean that's like I guess like the only comparison we have, I guess, to go back to is like you would see magazines, catalogs, things like that. That was sort of like websites before the
Yeah,
internet, and
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we had newspapers and you know physical reading materials were sort of like the websites. Then you had like you know bulletin boards where people with thumbtack pieces of paper were sort of like posting you know a thought. And you know, then we had you know internet with like MySpace, Twitter, Facebook, you know, streaming. I think that leap in magazine to .com, that difference, which is so I can't believe I'm even using these things to compare things to. That's where websites and metaverses are going to be like, a very transfer of attention, but within the same ballpark. You know, they're I don't think I think we'll still call them websites when we go to like you know go to my website, but it will just be a metaverse experience. Same like I don't think we'll come up with like a different word or call them like metaverse. I think we'll just say that's you know Nike's website, even though it's a metaverse. That's just what websites will transition into, sort of like how all magazines and newspapers are now you know newsletters in your emails instead of you know on your doorstep. I guess to wrap things up here, 3D. Did you want to let people, you know anything, anything that we didn't get to touch on yet that we wanted to make sure we talked about?
Um, like basically, like with the spaces, we're really using that time to explain nuances, explain details, and answer questions. Like we've been getting people on there asking questions, we're answering it for them, trying to help them solve their problems. Kind of as like a show point of like how we actually have the knowledge that we're saying we have for the actual webinars. Um, because we have like more advanced versions that we're wanting to do. We want to get a few basic ones out and then do an advanced one where it goes, okay, now you know how to buy a piece of plot. Now you know how to buy an asset. You know how to look for good stuff. Now let me show you how to actually monetize that and set different ways. Let me show you how to tell which one of these is going to work for you. Let me tell you how to figure out the market you just got into, like where it's like how is it heading? Is it a short term buy, a long term? Like go into like really more detailed stuff. And then we also have a metaverse one that we want to do where it's going to be like, all right, you know nothing, come on in, we'll get you all the way up to like the advanced user level of this type of technology and like how to deal with it, how to work with it, but also with the communities and building with inside of it and setting it up for what you're needing it to be and trying to figure out how you gotta. So like a lot of people buy stuff and they go, now what I do, I got nothing to do with it. So like how to get you prepared to know what you're going to do with it before you purchase it. So then you're more likely to buy a better spot or better plot or anything of the in between.
Yeah, I
All right.
like that. Like, dude, it's like GoDaddy meets Century 21 kind of vibes.
Oh
Also,
yeah, right. Like right now they're called
that's
rooms. Like everyone's calling these things rooms, the small ones. So like you were saying like earlier, there'd just be like dot rooms eventually.
Right.
real quick. Can I throw this in there because he's being he's downplaying the level of things we're doing, folks. A couple weeks ago, we worked out making the first faucet in Uplift,
Oh
right?
shit.
The builder DAO, and it went from a conversation that I'm gonna throw this out there. Shout outs to Corey that I met at the ShitcoinCon in Miami.
Love you,
Um
Corey.
we were sitting in the back talking, and he was talking about like DAO stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like somebody really needs to like push forward on making a DAO in the uplift." And when he said it, I was like, "I don't know about that. Like, I don't even know what I would do with a DAO." And I went back and talked to 3D like I think the next day or like when I came back from Miami. And so, conversation, this is all the way back in like January, February, I think. Um, and so going forward, I go to another event in Philly. I'm having another conversation about how there are no faucets in metaverses. I'm in another conversation at that DeFi Philly event. I then end up next day talking to 3D, and I'm like, yo, so I had this conversation, blah, 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 blah. Like 72 hours later, he comes back and he's like, yeah, so I think we can do this. What do you mean? It's like we can make the faucet and we just use the NFT as a digital item to trigger the faucet, and we can set up the DAO. Get out. So technically, we got the first builder DAO,
Wow.
or guild in Uplift, and it has its own faucet that is working like really smoothly right now.
Congrats, dude.
And
That is
yeah,
amazing.
so he's downplaying it, but this guy right here, like I said, like we're not tourists in this. This dude does a lot of the heavy lifting. I just do a lot of the talking. But we make a good combo.
Right, and I mean, to speculate on that for the viewers, people listening that may not know what this means, but I mean, like, you could really extrapolate on top of this with, like, saying, you have a plot in the metaverse and you want to monetize it. Well, like we mentioned earlier, galleries are sort of like the first, use cases for metaverse plots to be monetized. And then you can gamify that monetization by rewarding people for attending your gallery with faucet airdrops. So now they're financially incentivized to show up and view these pieces of art that you're having as displayed in your gallery, and you're being paid to display that art in your gallery and taking some of that to pay people to come and see it. If you manage that correctly, it's sustainable. And then you could do that with collaborations, you know what I mean? If there's like a local pizza shop, they have their own shitcoin, then you can airdrop some of their shitcoins to people who come and see your gallery. It's a lot of that can really be built on. So, dude, that is badass, man. Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
the way that we're doing it now, and we haven't put out everything, but it's basically like a builders guild. So like, hey, here are people in Uplift who would be willing to either build up something, or here's somebody who wants a development of a plot. Like you can use the smart contract, basically contract out the work, and the members of this DAO will, okay, hey, I can do it. I could do it. How many hands you need on it? Like, and here's the crazy part, bro. Here's the crazy part. Technically speaking, this concept can be pushed in on any other smart contract enabled blockchain. We just happen to figure out how to do it on here first. Shout outs to Mike. What's his
Mike D
name?
Crypto.
Mike D Crypto, because he did the heavy lifting on figuring out how to do the smart contracts on Wax. Because you know how they are about explaining how everything works
Oh,
on
they
there.
don't explain shit. You got to do it on your own.
Well, shout outs to him because he definitely did the heavy lifting, and then we figured out how to apply it to our particular use case scenario, and here's where we are right now.
Damn, man. Well, fuck, dude. That is awesome. Oh, and also, I got to shout out Miss Teen Crypto. I noticed she was giving away NFTs during our live stream. So if you're watching and you
Shout outs,
see
lady.
on the bottom of the screen right there, the bottom corner, there's a QR code. Every time that QR code updates, the first person to scan it gets a free NFT. There was quite a few Miss Teen Crypto was giving away during the live stream show. Thank you, Miss Teen Crypto. And if you're watching, maybe go back, rewatch the podcast, and scan the QR code as it changes in case somebody missed one and there's still an NFT available. But yeah, free NFT QR code on the bottom of the screen. Scan it, get a free NFT. Thank you, Miss Teen Crypto. Don't forget to check the link in the title of the video there for the Eventbrite tickets for August 30th for Digital Realty. And then the Metaverse Toolbox link is in the description of the video. It'll also probably be in the comments. I'm sure 3D will comment underneath the Periscope video here on Twitter. So go ahead and check out the Toolbox over there, the Metaverse Toolbox. And yeah, I love you both. Hopefully I can see you at a conference soon. I don't know what's popping, but hopefully I get to rub elbows with you two IRL real soon. I miss you guys.
I'm gonna
Miss you too,
definitely
man.
work to be down in FL. I think next month, or it might be October. One of these months. Things are happening, bro. Things are happening. So yeah, I definitely gonna make my way over to your side of town when I get down there.
Cool. I'll be here.
All right.
All right, bros. Have a day.
Same to you.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Hello, happy bros. Hey, you're about to get a face full of the Kenn Bosak. He's a mentor. That's what I heard. He's a connector. Oh yeah. He's a brilliant leader. I've seen it. He's Kenn Bosak. Oh, happy bro. You gotta get some Bitcoin and hold it. Happy bros. You gotta get those NFTs and you gotta hodl that stuff. You gotta hodl it. 'Cause I'm Kenn bro. We got your Bitcoin, bro. He's an original. Buy some NFTs and hold them. How many times does he have to tell you? Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. 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 Yeah, we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Bro, we're going to the moon. Oh yeah, we're going to the moon. We're gonna get real high. Real high. Yep. Real high. Hello, happy bros. Come get some Kenn Bosak.